In 1825, Dr. Jacob Bigelow and Justice Joseph Story envisioned a new place that would celebrate the dead while at the same time inspiring the living. This idea led to the rural cemetery movement in the United States. In 1831, Mount Auburn Cemetery was established as the first rural landscape cemetery in the U.S. Its concept and design have changed how Americans thought about death, burial practices, the commemoration of the dead, and cemeteries as places of inspiration. In the 19th century, it became both a rural cemetery and a public park. It was affectionately known as Sweet Auburn from the 1770 poem The Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. Mount Auburn Cemetery inspired the establishment of other public sites throughout the United States, such as Central Park in New York, Forest Hill Cemetery and the Emerald Necklace in Boston, Laurel Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia, Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, and other sites all over the country. Since then, it has become a tourist destination for its beautiful landscape and rich wildlife. It attracts over 200,000 visitors every year. At the time of Mount Auburn's creation, Egyptian culture was famous and influential in Europe and America, especially the funerary practices that Egyptians believed were necessary to ensure their immortality after death. The dead person not just had ceased to exist, they had merely left the earth for another realm. Flowers played a spiritual role in their funerary practices. They saw flowers as an image of rebirth and regeneration. Also, Egyptian obelisks and pyramids representations were common in funerary monuments. Dr. Jacob Bigelow, a physician, professor, and botanist, was one of Mount Auburn Cemetery's founders. He was immensely influenced by ancient Egyptian civilization. He was credited with promoting the word technology in 1829. His influence and vision are found in many aspects of the cemetery. He designed the ceremonious Egyptian Revival front gate, the Gothic Bigelow Chapel, and Washington Tower. He also commissioned the sculptor Martin Milmore to sculpt the monumental Sphinx. He served as Mount Auburn's second president, following Joseph Story, from 1845 to 1872. As the first president of the cemetery, Story was the youngest associate justice ever appointed to the United States Supreme Court. In 1829, he became a dean of Harvard Law School. His mother, Elisha Story, participated in the Boston Tea Party. Justice Story was known as the poet of Marblehead and was chosen to give the eulogy for George Washington, the first president of the United States. Andrew Jackson once referred to Story as the most dangerous man in America due to his strong support of nationalism. As the first country public garden, Mount Auburn's plant collections include over 16,000 plants and 1,700 plant taxa on the 174-acre plat, making it comparable to many other famous botanic gardens in the country. Its collection includes many different plants, such as the shade trees, sugar maple, red oak, Norway maple, Canadian hemlock, the conifers, the eastern white pine, Douglas fir, Norway spruce, Sawara false cypress, and white and black oak. Many trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants have botanical identifying tags with scientific and common names. The trees surround 3 bodies of water: Halcyon Lake, Auburn Lake, and Willow Pond. Its large plants yield fruits, berries, nuts, seeds, and insects that offer a variety of foods to migrant and resident birds and to many populations of animals, including squirrels, rabbits, woodchucks, opossums, and raccoons. With its richly planted 174 acres garden, Mount Auburn provides the perfect habitat for many urban wildlife species. For example, spotted salamanders, frogs, turtles, and coyotes are among the thousands of species that make the cemetery their year-round home. During the winter months, in addition to sparrows, blue jays, robins, cardinals, and crows, you might see a Cooper's hawk, sharp-shinned hawk, red-tailed hawk, merlin, and often a great horned owl, barred owl, or screech owl. The cemetery is a birding hotspot. Many species of warblers, beautiful songbirds such as black-throated greens, magnolias, Canadas, hoodeds, mournings, Cape Mays, and many others stop at Mount Auburn on their way to their northern breeding grounds from the southern U.S., Central, and South America. The peak of this phenomenon is generally in mid-May, when hundreds of excited birders and photographers enjoy the spring migration Mardi Gras day after day. During spring migration, the cemetery is a sea of smiling faces. Undoubtedly, Mount Auburn Cemetery, Sweet Auburn, is an oasis in the city. Its fame is reflected in many contemporary books, like Silent City on a Hill and Dead in Good Company, which is a collection of essays, poems, and photos by some of the most eminent Boston personalities, including Alan Dershowitz, William Martin, Upton Bell, Ray Flynn, Gary Goshgarian, George Ellenbogen, Megan Marshall, Hank Philippi Ryan, Catherine Hall Page, Peter Felicia, Dan Shaughnessy, Wayne Peterson, Pierce Butler, and many more. There are more than 100,000 people buried and commemorated at Mount Auburn. Writers, scientists, educators, inventors, reformers, and artists whose influence can still be seen worldwide. For example, Catherine Burr Blodgett, inventor of invisible glass, Anne Revere, American actress, William Barton Rogers, founder of MIT, and Kurt Gowdy, sportscaster for the Boston Red Sox.